My paper topic is on nature versus nurture, which is a really, really old debate that started back in about the 1700s. The primary origin of the debate was between two political philosophers, one named John Locke and the other named Thomas Hobbes. And John Locke's take on nature versus nurture was that man could be trusted and man could become good. And Thomas Hobbes's take was that man was naturally evil and that man could not be trusted, meaning that John Locke would be on the side of nurture and Thomas Hobbes on the side of nature. And I would side with John Locke on the side of nurture because, for example, there have been cases of children known as feral children where they have been subject to severe neglect and abuse. For example, there was a little girl named Oksana whose parents were heavily alcoholic, and they yelled at her and they would scare her, so she ran outside and she would sleep in the doghouse with the dog. And she grew up, she doesn't know how to talk. She barks like a dog, she walks like a dog, she eats like a dog because she was, as the metaphorical saying, raised by wolves, but by domestic dogs. And in other cases, they have found feral girls. One girl that was locked in a room by her father and actually strapped to a training potty chair. He never let her out for the 13 years of her life, and when she was discovered, she went through therapy and everything, and they were able to teach her about, I think it was up to 700 words and stuff, but she didn't walk right, and her thought process was different, and she died really, really young. Most cases of feral children, they have died really young. That's why for our society, I would like to propose a minimum child care law, which would mean that all the children that we find, we'd have to find as many children as fast as we could to where we could get them to a facility, a home-like facility that establishes a traditional home of parents and siblings so that they could grow up as stable and as strong as they could, so that after the kids that are 19 and 18 and 17 and probably 16, once they die off, we have strong, stable kids to take over and keep the human race going. Questions?
So when you chose the nurture side on the debate topic, why? How come the kids, you're trying to train the kids? Why not about the teenagers nowadays? What about them now? Instead of just focusing on kids, why not your teenagers?
Well, the younger children are more susceptible to everything around them. The older kids, like the 15, 16, 17-year-olds, they already have a general idea of language for sure and social norms and everything. The little kids, they have to be taught that. They can't figure it out themselves. By the time you're 15 to 19, you should have it well figured out or be able to figure it out yourself. These little kids, with the age they are, this is the part where the part of their brain that tells right and wrong, yes and no, is forming, and if they have to figure it out themselves, they're going to grow up and not understand a lot, and they have to have someone, because everything that they learn, they have to learn from someone else as a little kid. Have you ever noticed how, a parent that swears a lot, and then the little kid's first word is the F-bomb? That's that socialization process taking place. So the little kids are more susceptible to, learning and everything, and if they learn how, the way the new society is young, they might even be able to handle it better than the kids now.
Okay. So, what ages would you suggest for these little kids? What ages are the best to start learning?
Every little kid that we can find, everyone from infancy to 14, we need to get together. We'd probably have the 14 to 17-year-olds taking care of the kids, only ones that the leaders would deem qualified. We can't have a bunch of hooligans raising the kids, and we can't force people that are good at it. You could apply or volunteer, and you'd have to have a background check, personality test, so we know that you're safe to take care of these kids and raise them.
Alrighty.
One more question.
What is...
I don't know.